Also, since last live stream, my basement has gotten even more messy from moving things. I'm trying to clean things up. And then I ended up down here. So, the whole story of why this has been even more jacked up. Anyways, we're going to crack open a drink. Got a Shirley Temple 7 Up. It's not too bad. Kind of tastes more like cream soda than anything. It's weird. Hey, Apex, how's it going? Hey, Ryan. Hey, George. Cat started to make himself known as well. What do you want, Mr. Bossy? Why are you hiding behind a Power Ranger helmet box? Come here. You want to say hi to everybody? Come on. You want to say hi? Okay. Oh, cool. Which high Godzilla are you getting? Here's Servo. He's been soupy duper cuddly since Big Brother's passing. Yeah, even more cuddly than usual. Because usually the dog kind of was usually hogging me most of the time, and then he would come over and try to steal stuff. But since Shin passed away, there's nobody to stop him now. Okay, take it down. Got your attention. Say hi to everybody. Please don't climb into things underneath the table. I'd appreciate it. He's like, screw that idea. All right, well, anyways, I wanted to try to wrap this guy up real quick today. And then do a little bit of highlighting on this. Like, I'm not going to do anything crazy. Probably had the problem of it just like with Shin passing and everything. Just be honest, just haven't really been in the mood to do the things. And also just with my work schedule and stuff, it's just been like harder and harder to try to do these while being productive and doing adult things. So it's been tough. Also, funny thing, I appreciate it, Ryan. So with Shin's vet bills and such, I was selling stuff, and then I got the quote for his surgery, and I had to put a down payment on, so it was quite a bit of money. So I was trying to sell stuff, and that's why my basement's messy, because I was trying to find boxes and what I could put together that was kind of like, it wouldn't hurt my feelings that much to go, and they were kind of pricey, so I grabbed like all the Power Ranger weapons and props and stuff like that, found their boxes, found all the alien boxes and stuff like that, was doing the photos, and then sadly got the phone call. Instantly Transformers. Now, all the game Transformers, all like the important ones sold, so now I got like some I'm going to be putting a lot up to get rid of on eBay. If any of you guys are interested, you can message me on Instagram. But a lot of like Transformer Generations figures from the video games. So after I sold a few of the important ones, I had the Metroplex, but he's too big to put on eBay, and I probably want to get my money back on eBay. So I found a shop around here that had some Godzilla stuff, so I did some trade. Because funny enough, in my town, there's one vintage toy store. There's two vintage toy stores. Only one I would legitimately call a vintage toy store. The other one's more of a game shop. And they get Godzilla stuff in periodically. And some odd reason, somebody had traded in a YMSF God Manda. And I think this is a convention one, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, who around here who had this, and why aren't we friends? That's what I want to know. But thanks, Goji and George's Corner. It sucks. It's not much we could have done about it, because with the surgery. So what we found out after the fact is that he had lymphoma, is what he got, which is pretty much cancer in the blood, and what doing was it affected his liver, his spleen. So it enlarged his spleen. The lady said it was the biggest spleen she's ever seen on a dog. So we got that going. And then it was also affecting his eye. So he had like something growing behind his eye too. And found out the eye thing, because first it was we were going to do surgery to get rid of his spleen, get rid of the mass on the liver, and hopefully that would have been fine. But found out he was too anemic for that, and then the eye thing happened. So After that, we found out had to put him down, which sucks. But again, it's not kind of out of our control. Well, if you want to find me on, I don't know if I have the link in the description in this video. I think the last live stream I did, I had it on there because I was more promoting selling stuff. Right now, it's just kind of like whatever. My credit card's got more money on it, but at least like my bank account isn't hurting. But yeah, I got like some Transformer generations I'm willing to get rid of. I actually have some Transformers Prime ones too. I like the Beast Hunter figures I was trying to get rid of a little bit ago, but nobody really wanted it. Yeah, it sucks. Apex was because it's pretty like we lost a family member, so it was a rough few days. And then I got the phone call about because like they knew he had some form of cancer, and then all that stuff going on, and it was just going to cost too much to take him to a specialist and whatever. So we had to do that. And then they called us and told us about that. They found out officially he had lymphoma, and even if I would have took him to the specialist, it wouldn't have done anything. I can't remember if I said it, but thanks, Jacob, as well. Ooh, the Godzilla XCOM figure. Sweet. It's a good one. Like that one a lot. Yeah, I can. I gotta find the baggie. I think it's painting out. I think it was over there. I'm trying to remember where I last seen it. With the Beast Hunters. Yeah, I can post what I still got left. Because I have like one lot on eBay, which is the Generations Blaster with his what do you call it? The data disc that went with him. I had the set. And I still have like Grimlock. Like Grimlock's probably the biggest one I still have. Yeah, that was the important part because like Shin couldn't even like as I guess to give you guys like a run up of what happened with Shin is we went camping, everything was fine, but he was kind of like before then he was kind of acting a little funny, nothing out of the ordinary. We thought he had a stomach ache or something with a stomach, but he just wasn't really being that cuddly. Like because usually he'll sleep with us, and there was like a couple of days he wasn't really sleeping with us. He was just kind of you'd either sleep on the floor or go sleep on the couch or something. So we thought it was weird, but didn't think too much of it. It's happened once in a while because he's always kind of like he gets upset stomachs. And then we went camping, and after we got back from camping, we noticed he seemed like he was a little thinner, and he was starting to get really picky with the food. So we made an appointment for the vets, but just like everything around here, you have to schedule it out. So he couldn't go to the vet for like a week. So we had to wait a week, went to the vet, and that's when we found out about the spleen. And then they informed me if I noticed anything like a large on his stomach, I should probably take him to emergency vet. And lo and behold, later that night, he had something. So we went to the emergency vet, which the closest one for us is like an hour drive. So that's fun. So I won't tell you my location in Michigan, but I don't really, like, if you have a dog, this probably isn't the best place for that. So then we went there, and then that's when we found out it was also affecting his liver. And the reason why he had that mass is because they gave him fluids, so it expanded his stomach. But ever since then, he kind of had a hard time sleeping. Like, he couldn't really lay down to sleep very well, so he would just eventually pass out. So then when we went to there, they recommend getting an ultrasound, but we had, again, wait a couple days. And then by that point, it was pretty much done. Ooh, Godzilla movie night would be sweet. Finally watched Transformers 1. We've been talking a lot about Transformers. That was actually pretty sweet. I like that movie. Not sure what you mean by Monster Arts crashing down. Because they got the Angers coming out. That figure looks sweet. I'm excited. What was I saying? What was it? Haya just put out the pre-orders up for the 93 Mecha Godzilla, and it's the first figure I've seen currently that's definitely it's got a price hike on it already. So even just to get it, like the normal retail is what, $70 for it now instead of the 51. So it's almost gone up $20, which is probably gonna be the norm for a lot of things coming up here in the near future. It does look really good though, and I've always kind of said, anyways, that Haya's. I feel like, for the most part, I think at the price they were at, I think was fair. But they honestly probably could have been charging a little bit more, and people probably wouldn't complain. So now that it's a bit more, it's like it's gonna start getting into the realm of monster arts, where I'm gonna get them in and be like, it's cool, but I'm not that excited for as excited for them anymore, unless something blows me away. And that's currently my problem with that Mecha Godzilla. Like, it looks cool, but only like now it's the problem if it only comes with like two hands and the G crushers, and it's $70 now. Mm. There's some paints you could get. Um, if you want to get a really good metal looking paint job, well, that's going to be okay. So what's going to happen is like 2 weeks before Mechagodzilla hits stateside, they're going to announce a Mechagodzilla with the Garuda, and we're all going to be really sad that we bought that Mechagodzilla, not the one with Garuda. So I'm like, I almost like I'm that one. I might wait on the pre-order, see if they put out another version. Because I'm going to guarantee there's going to be another one of that one with the Garuda, with their track record, anyways. Yeah, then they come with the fax pieces. You're pretty lucky for the most part. Oh yeah, but anyways, so I traded Mextraplex. We got the Manda. I also got a Gamera vinyl because I actually didn't have a Showa one. So this is my first one I was able to get a hold of, which it's a 65. Problem is, I think this is a newer one, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think this is an older Bandai. Like this I'm pretty sure is a more recent one. Because I'm dumb like that. It's tempting. Because my Monster Arts one I have set up a Garuda and everything, so this one's like, it'd be kind of cool to get. Plus, it's my favorite Mechagodzilla, so all jokes aside, I'm probably gonna grab it anyways. But it's just like, it's one of those like, it's cool, but I'm not as excited about it. And probably the coolest thing was this one, which is the one I initially wanted, because this is actually the old Rodan vinyl. I don't know if it's got the copyrights on this. Yeah, it's like 1990 something. But it's cool. You don't really see too much of the old Bandai vinyls. So I was stoked to get this, and like he had both of these for the same price. So I was like, well, I definitely want this. And then I just ended up grabbing the he pointed this out the back because he had this he didn't even have this on display because he was like, at the price point, he was just gonna toss it on eBay, see how much he gets for it, because the prices range so wildly on these. And then I explained to him what it was, and they offered it in the trade, so I took it. That's pretty much I got. Like, what you figure? Because these guys are usually like 60, but this is an older one, so say it's a little higher. He was wanting 50 for this. This is more like 20, 30-ish. So I at least got my money back on the Metroplex. And I didn't have to worry about eBay fees and stuff like that, so it's always sweet. Oh yeah, the King Ghidorah. Sign me up. That's the one I want. I want my underpants King Ghidorah. Oh yeah, the NECA thing. We're not even gonna get the painting anything today, are we? We're just gonna be talking about stuff. Oh yeah, that NECA thing is whack. 100%. I don't even think what they're doing is legal with that. Like threatening people, like that they're gonna charge them for figures that they accidentally sent to them for free. Because I feel like at that point it's kind of on them. I get there was an error, but that's a pretty big error. I feel like somebody was getting fired for that one. Plus, how many of them were actually sent out? Like I've seen like on some of the Facebook groups, there was quite a bit of people. He does that. Well, he's so needy. Hi, buddy. I don't even know what you want. You have food and water upstairs. That's usually what you come mainly bug me about. Yeah, and then there's like people like there's a bunch of people that are still waiting for like those first turtles, and they sent apologies for those, for their like distribution being bad on those, and people not getting shipping notifications. And we're supposed to be very forgiving of that stuff, which is fine. It happens. But now they're like, oh, and we also have another shipping issue, but this time we sent too many things out. And now we're expecting you to send them all back, and or you're gonna get charged for them. They're definitely, there's something internally that really needs to be fixed there. It's not good. It's not a good look. Like I was already like with the, like my experience buying stuff from the NECA store. It's not fun. It's a lot of waiting, and then like I don't think any of the ones I've gotten from the NECA store ever had tracking. They just kind of showed up, which again isn't very good business, isn't great business practice. Like their products are sweet for the most part. There's definitely been like some ups and downs with a few releases, but overall, I still really like NECA figures. I still buy NECA figures, but I'm very hard pressed to want to order them from the site unless I have a very, very good reason for it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with NECA, but it doesn't seem good because you have like that whole fiasco. Even with like some of the newer turtle releases, they're kind of lackluster. Like, and then we have the problem where they're just like starting to reissue things just to reissue things, like that whole Casey Jones with John Carter. Is it John Carter? Yeah, with Johnny's bike from Terminator, which isn't in the movie. So why is this figure a thing? They couldn't have thought of anything else to do with a Casey Jones figure. Or heck, even with the Shredder Leonardo release, like why isn't Shredder battle damaged? They make it a must-have figure then. No, they just re-released normal Shredder because nobody bought the Splinter Shredder packs. So they just repackaged the Shredder with something else, which is just a Leonardo with an extra head. And there's that, and then there's like they announce lines but aren't supporting any of them. Like we haven't heard anything about the dinosaur figures. It's just been Earl and Baby, and there's already been 3 releases of Earl too. Definitely some problems. But then again, I'm excited for the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. I'll probably try to grab that. Because worst case scenario, if something happens and they don't make any more of the Ultimates, at least there's the older figures. Gargoyles, we're still waiting on the stupid Cold Heart. Cold Heart? Who's been on the back of the package of things? They still haven't gotten that dude. And then even just like the way they promote stuff too, it's just been kind of whatever too. Like the Tatsu. Like Tatsu, I feel like should have been a pretty big deal, and they didn't even announce that guy until he was already Cold Stone. I don't know why I always think he's Cold Heart. It's Cold Stone. It's like the Creamery. I should really remember this. But even like Tatsu, like that should have been like a pretty big deal. A lot of people were really excited about Tatsu, wanting Tatsu, and it was already showing up in stores before they even were like, "Oh, hey, it's a thing. Make sure you look out for it." Like I know they weren't gonna have pre-orders up for it, but it'd be cool to give us a heads up, you know. Didn't even show up at like any conventions or anything. It was just like it's here now. You don't have to send anything, Ryan. I appreciate the thought, though. I definitely need to work on something. I put Sorta how to last year. We got to try some paint something. There's one thing I was doing today. I'm going to angle you guys a bit. Is I was 3D scanning that today, which was fairly successful. I gotta do some more passes because there's a couple of the spines. It didn't really. They're gonna be a little shaky for a second. There's a couple of the spines that didn't really come out very well, and something with the one of the files I think was jacked up with the one eyebrow, so it didn't sit quite right. So I gotta do a few more passes, like especially on this side of the head. I gotta try to get the spines a little better, maybe the teeth, and then I think it's pretty much good to go. Mechagodzilla is sweet. It's one of those figures, if you're not like in dire need of it, you could pass on it. Just because I would assume that they're going to put out one with the Garuda at some point, and I feel like that's the more desirable one to get. No, I can see them doing a Kaiser. They announced Legion. They'll do it. They could do a Kaiser. Legion was the one I would say was the more hard pressed one for me to think, because I would love to get it, but the problem with Legion is just so damn big, like compared to Gamera, and it got showed off the Tamashii Nation event, so can't wait for that thing. I do not want to know how much that thing's going to be, but I can't wait for it. Because I have like the original X Plus Iris, or not X Plus Legion, that I have with my Monster Arts because the scale's pretty close. So I gotta figure out what I'm doing with that. I'm probably gonna keep it, because like Legion's still my favorite kaiju. I still would love to get the giant X Plus one. So I'll probably hang on to it just for giggles, but it's not one like I need. Well, anyways, we could probably get this one done real quick. Do I have a small flat brush hanging out? Ooh, that's a good point. Would they? I don't know if they would, because then they'd have to like. Well, I guess you have to add a part regardless. That's a good call. I can see them making it attached to the permanently attached to the thing, because you already got the mold for the mecha, so you just make the mold for the thing glued together. I could see that. I don't know if they would, because I feel like it would upset a lot of people. Void Ghidorah would be dope. I'm almost surprised they haven't done Void Ghidorah, just because it'd just be, you only really need to make one figure, because it's not like you have to do the entire damn thing. It's too big. But you could do, like, I've even seen somebody made a 3D print. All you need is like the portal and the Ghidorah heads, the neck coming out of the portal, and just make it a stand. Probably make this thing kind of heavy, and then just have the Ghidorah neck coming off with the mouth, and just have 3 of those. And just make it like it'd almost be like a glorified accessory set for the Godzilla Earth. Like, if I was going to do it, that'd be the way I'd go. My current conundrum is, because I haven't done a lot of things down here, everything's kind of a mess. I don't know. Oh, there's one. We'll use this guy. Titanosaurus would be sweet. I think we could probably get King Caesar probably before we get Titano. Well, that's the beauty thing, is you don't even have to sell an upgrade kit. There's just, you get people buying multiples of that same set just to pop the necks together and just have extra heads laying around. Or you just have like a bajillion portals. It's just like a bunch of Ghidorah heads all coming towards them. But I can see Caesar, because they already done the Mechagodzilla. You got Anguirus. And then King Caesar can maybe come with like accessories for like can come with like the head for Mecha Godzilla. Yeah, I can see them doing Ghidorah too, just to finish off the Gigan movie. I'm curious to see if it looks like the bootleg or not. Yeah, I was to say they could probably do both. Because we'll probably get because usually on average we get like 1 to 2 bigger figures during the year, mostly newer things, and then they do like a couple of reissues, and then we get a couple of shows. At least as of late. Where's my there's I'm not sure why I grabbed the primer. I don't want the primer. We want just normal black paint. See you, Russell. Hopefully, the next couple of days we'll start on that model kit. Probably do some streaming. Almost out of black paint. I'm at least getting this stupid thing's toes done. So I gotta do its toes, its eyes. I gotta clean up. Somehow I got a little speck of blue there. So I gotta go over it with the primer and then dry brush slightly. But we'll get the nails set up. Also, just now realizing that's not a good brush for what I do. I was on the right thing. It's always funny when I try not to keep the brushes together because when I tend to I got one with water and one without, which the without one just has my extra brushes, and I always for some odd reason will stick the brush in like the one without the water, swirl it around, and realize I just made an egregious error. Yeah, plus they do quite a bit of. I think they do a little bit too much differently, which you're trying to get to different markets like that, and they have a lot of licenses. But I do feel they could maybe it would maybe be beneficial to maybe cut down on like how many random things that they're doing. Ooh, Darkman would be cool. But we tend to get a lot of they'll start doing certain movies or shows or series, what have you, and then you get like very little support for it for a while, and then like something random will pop up. And it'd be nice to just have a little bit more consistency with some of the things. Like for instance, RoboCop. They've had the license forever. They've done some re-releases of some of the RoboCop stuff, and then like the only new figure they announced was like Murphy before RoboCop, and like we're still waiting on like some of the other characters from this movies. Kane, I feel like is a really big one that they haven't done a figure of yet. Now it could also depend too, just on like how profitable it is. Like kind of like with the Pacific Rim ones, where like we never got Slaturn just because they weren't making enough money to make us like the Pacific Rim line wasn't profitable enough to merit making Slaturn. And with that statement, I'm kind of curious on how like Otachi sales went because I feel like how well Itachi did would be how well your Saturn figure would do. Well, I know a lot of the conversation with him was it would cost too much money, so they went for the price that they would have to charge. It just wasn't worth it for them. Kind of like why they never did like the Ghidorah from 2019. Like we had to wait till Monster Arts and Haya did it. And Haya did the same thing where that Monster Arts didn't want to do, where they just wanted they weren't they didn't want to make the figures cost different prices, so they didn't want to make Ghidorah because it was going to be in like the $100 range. But then Haya puts one out, puts it at the $100 range, and the thing sells like barn burners. Just seems kind of silly. Oh yeah, I feel like yeah, 55. I feel like I would get so many commissions for doing things with a 55 suit. Heck, I would probably do one myself just for giggles. Like a 55 and an Angus. Because I would just want those period, because I still really like those suits. Unironically. As growing up, I just thought like the way they looked in that movie was just like super terrifying. Just always really digged it. Hey, now the fun part. Gotta get a little bit of black on this nail. The tiniest little nail. So I'm going to wrap this up in a day or two so I can try to get it out since I've had this longer than I would like. Because generally speaking, with these 3D printed figures, I generally charge it. I usually ask for money in advance. Just because of materials and whatnot. And usually with these guys, I have them out fairly quick. But with Shin and such, I just didn't really have the time or the energy. This one too, because I was basing it off the Zillas in terms of how much I charged for it, without really taking into account that this guy actually just has a more complicated paint job than Zilla. Because like with the T-Rex, you have to get like the striping. And it's got multiple layers of dry brushing and washes over it. Same with the stomach region, plus the freaking front of the face. And spend a little bit more attention to detail on. Love the way it came out, but it's a bit more work. I don't know if I call it a hot take, just as a truth. It's the only other black and white one we gotten. Hey, Georgina. I just realized I missed a toenail for painting. Because what I'm going to do with the nails is I'll probably go over them slightly with a gray. Because one thing I need to look, because this is probably the last time I painted a buck was actually my sorry, look like you're I haven't added to it. That helps. I'm sorry. But the last one I've done of these is actually my original one, because this is here's a fun one. The first custom I've ever painted was this guy, which is like one of the really, really early Mattel T-Rexes. Got a servo here, which I really dig the paint job on it, but it's a weird one because I did the dry brushing and such, but it also has really hard edges for the yellowing. So it looks very toyetic, like it is very toy looking. But I still put enough detail in it to try to give it the more realistic look. So it's like I should have went like hard one or the other. It's got a little bit of both going on with this. But I grabbed this because I know with this at least how the coloring should be for the nails and stuff and the eyes. But I'm starting to second guess because I put the gray on the nails, the things here. I don't remember if I did it just because I thought it was cool or if it was like that in the movie. I need to go back. This one, I went fully based off the animatronic is where I got the color scheme for this one. And honestly, it looks a lot more realistic than that one. Although I like that one. It's one of the reasons I still have it. Also, I don't think anybody would probably want to buy it off me, to be fair, anyways. I should put it on the Etsy just for giggles. see if somebody would buy it. But this one definitely looks a lot more professional. And I dig it. I think I'm going to call it good there with the nails for today. I'll get the eyes done and check into how the feet are supposed to be. Because I know the nails are black. I know that for certain. Like I said, I'll go over a little bit of gray just to dry brush on it, just because oh, it's like when you look at bird nails, especially like eagle nails and whatnot. They'll be black, but you'll see like the streaks of gray in the nail. Oh yeah, this stuff's great. Although it tastes like because Shirley Temple to me should be almost like cherry Sprite or cherry 7-Up. And this kind of tastes like cream soda. I don't know if it's just me, but I taste creams like 100% cream soda. Yeah, oh yeah, a Hammer collection for sure. Um, my only concern is usually when I make customs, it's like it depends or it varies quite a bit on how easy it is for me to sell them at the price points. Unless people ask for it, like this was a specific request. So that one's easy. And then you have guys like this one that I put together, and he's still here, and nobody's bought him yet for me. And I'm kind of sad about it. Because honestly, I think this guy looks really sweet and really unique. I've had a couple of people ask about it, but nobody's been like, yes. But yes, I do have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures. A lot of we were talking about NECA a lot earlier, but I do have the NECA Turtles, the movie ones primarily, and Last Ronin. The only thing that scares me with the way NECA's been right now is because there's some Last Ronin figures that they still need to put out, and I need them. So hopefully nothing bad happens until I get them. Oh, but then again, it's like it's only for the stupid car. Like, or not waiting for it, but they announced they're doing like Casey with the bike, which would be dope. But I'm worried it's going to be some kind of like NECA online exclusive or something, and that's going to hurt my feelings a lot. Because I just don't want to deal with it. I don't. Yeah, like a traditional like Shirley Temple is very very cream, like very like cherry Sprite, and then you have like the cherry in it. At least for a non-alcoholic one, which is what I always had. Never been much of a drinker, so for better or for worse. Yeah, maybe because of the price. I did knock the price down a little bit. Because if anybody's interested, I'm probably gonna end up putting like if nobody buys it, I still gotta do the video for it, but it'll end up on the Etsy. But if I put it on the Etsy, I'm gonna ask more for it. But I would like 175 for it, just because we got what like 5 live stream sessions working on this guy. If I have one hanging around here, I'm also tossing in a beam with it, so you'll get a beam too. Which those I usually charge $15 for. And then there's also the paint job too and whatnot. So in terms of the amount of work, I definitely feel like it's worth it at that point. Oh, for one of these, so what I usually do is if somebody wants one of these, um, I haven't done a Spinosaurus yet, so ballpark realm. But in general, I do. It's 130 for me to print one of these for assemble it and paint it because I don't actively sell these things because it's not my file. I know people have had problems with the Arctic trying to get them from Arctic Figures and what have you. But for the use of my printer, pay for the materials, and just pay for my time working on it. That's what I charge. Like I said, I don't actively sell them though. It's like the Zillas. Like if somebody really wants one, we could generally work something out. But yeah, on average, it's usually 130. Because the way I figure it's, at least with the Zillas, it was about 30-ish bucks for materials, and then it usually takes me a couple hours to put it together, which are like 30, 40-ish, and then the rest of it's for paint. I don't, but they've done crazier. Because just like with those first turtles that popped up as like I know that like they did versions of them as exclusives, but it just concerns me that because it comes with the bike and whatnot, that I don't know if I don't expect to see that popping up like on a Target shelf. Maybe it's like a web store like web store exclusive of some kind. Oh, no problem. But just like I said, if you're interested, that's usually what it goes. I'd have to see how much resin it's going to use because the T-Rex and the Zilla are pretty equal in terms of just how much materials they take up. The only thing with the T-Rex is I had to use small elastic for the arms because of the size. It's just I couldn't really do much of difference. But then it's still the same elastic for the legs, elastic for the body, pin for the jaw. The thing I hate is the jaw doesn't open up as wide as I think it should. It's the only kind of annoying thing about it. But since I brought it up, I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting on this. I'm just going to go over it lightly with a candy color. I don't want to go too heavy. Just to kind of hit some of the high points a little bit, just to make some of these sections pop a little bit more. Because one thing with -1 is a lot of people insinuate it with being more of like the brown sandy like you see on the posters. And during the Ginza scene. But in general, he's kind of darker. Sort of like the monster arts in a way. With bits highlighted here and there. No, with that being said, I still tend to do them sort of like the Ginza, so with more browns and brighter accents. Ooh, sweet. I want to go see Gladiator. Problem is, I know nobody that's interested in going to see it, and I never go to the movies by myself, so it'll be one of those. I'll just have to wait till it comes out. If anything, I'd probably go try to watch Venom. Because I know my wife wanted to go see it anyways. No, I was say if Arctic Figures is okay with you selling it, by all means. Generally, though, with new molds, I do make people buy the file. So, like for instance, the Spinosaurus. If you're still here, you'd have to buy the file and send it to me. That is one prerequisite, just so he at least gets paid for it. Then honestly, I don't think I have the Spinosaurus file anyways, if I'm thinking right. So I would need the file sent to me. Yeah, Venom: The Last Dance. Like I said, I don't mind printing stuff for people, but they have to have the file first. What I'm doing here too is hitting it with these highlights is to try to make some consistency with the spine or with the spines, because some of these, like you look over here, there's certain sections that are really dark compared to other ones. This is the Super 7. So I'm just trying to make them look a little bit more uniform, and I'm just barely got any paint on here. And just going over some of the sections so they just, especially the spiky bits, get a bit more highlighting to them so they stand out a little more. What do you want? Poor cat is just hanging out behind me, just meowing. He's got such a rough life. Cat, I'm trying to paint, and I don't want to waste the paint, so I'm trying to get this done real quick. Because I'm probably getting off after I get this guy highlighted. And the next time I stream, we'll probably be working on this some more, wrapping up the dragon. Well, I was hoping to get done last weekend, but that didn't happen, as you guys are aware. As you can see, spines stand out a little bit more now. It's kind of hard with the lighting here. In person, it's definitely a little bit brighter looking. There's one there. It's kind of hard to get. I still will say the one thing I don't like about this figure is the use of the harder plastic for the body. Just, to me, it makes it feel a little cheaper. Have a good one, nah. Hey, Rocky. Hit that spine a little harder. Yeah, I'm just trying to make the detailing of the spines a little bit more consistent throughout. Some of these Ricky's a little bit more high point, like a little bit of brightening up around the groin region, the chest. Kneecaps can use a little bit of loving. Same with the plating of the nails. Around the knees a little bit. So not going super hard, but that's why you don't want a lot of paint on the brush, so it just transfers a little bit over and you can kind of just hit it where you need to. So now his feet show off a little better. Legs got a little bit more coloring to them. Back looks pretty pronounced. Looks a lot more, because what we're mainly aiming for is trying to make it look more like how it did in the prototype shots. More so than how it looked afterwards. So the next thing I got to do is touch up the eyes. Teeth actually look pretty good on it, so I'm probably going to leave the teeth in the mouth relatively alone. Do got to redo the eyes, though. The eyes are kind of... But I got to put the cheek scar on, do the eyes. That'll be next live stream, but I'm already going a little bit longer than I was planning on it. I did see they're doing a 93. Looks sweet. I know we were talking about it earlier. It's one of those I can see passing on for now, just waiting for one that comes with the Garuda. Ooh, but that being said, it's still a cool one. Ooh, burpee. And with it being like one of my more favorite Mecha Godzillas, it'd just be kind of cool to have anyways. But going solid green meaty. Still a little bummed out, you know. But it's definitely gotten better. So, kind of up for working on stuff now. Plus, we got new Godzilla toys. Also, got to ship out my big bed here in the near future. Although I'm debating, because the Super 7 Megazord went down to like $40, and I kind of want to grab it now because I have the Dragon Zord and the Tyrannozord, so I kind of want to get it. But I'm leaning towards. I also don't kind of want to get because I know that that line I think's relatively dead already, so we're not gonna get like like White Tigers or some of the other stuff. So it feels weird for me to get the Megazord, and then I'm still gonna be waiting for another posable company Megazord. So I don't know. Oh hi. Honestly, that new. Oh, that's the other one that was supposed to be showing up. Like, oh, that's a good reason for me to wait. Actually, is the poster Space Godzilla from Super 7. I'm pretty pumped about that one. That one looks sweet. Like I said, the Super 7 stuff's kind of hit and miss for me, but that one looks cool. Just because of the color. It's what I wanted from them. I'm like, if you make this stuff look like Trendmasters, sign me up. They did, so I gotta support it. So I have that on pre-order. I also, for myself, pre-ordered the charging -1 because I do think this is a solid figure. But I have the Monster Arts one, so it's like I don't like how many of these do I really need in my collection. I got Monster Arts, I got Bandai vinyl. So now the Super 7's doing the charging one, I'm like, sweet, I can buy that charging one, and then I don't have to worry about trying to get a hold of the stupid exclusive Monster Arts one. So poo on that figure. So rather spend the was it 89 to get the charging. I'll still probably have to work on it, mind you, just like this one. But at least it looks cool and it has like the spines popping up. I might have to make a beam for that one though, because the ones I make work, but it'd be cool to have a longer one. So possibly see that in the works. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this live stream. So help us defeat those kaijus by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. We also got Instagram, Patreon, TikTok, Facebook. Guys, like you about the date, which you want to donate, greatly would appreciate it. Again, if you guys like to pick up some stuff, I had posted some stuff for sale on my Instagram at Unimportant Steve. I don't think there's a link in the description, but if you look up Unimportant Steve on Instagram, you'll find me. I think there's a picture of my dog as the head, as the picture profile, but you'll see the action figures. You'll see this guy pop up. I got them there for sale. You just message me on there. They're also on the Facebook. Facebook's in the description. So if you have Facebook, also message me on there. If you'd like to help support the channel and help pay for some dog bills, that'd be sweet. Anyways, see you guys in the next one. Oh, actually, before I get too far, we'll cancel it. Also, you guys are interested in picking up that 93 Godzilla, link in the description for CowkissToys.com. You save 6% off your order. Code SteveCowkiss at checkout. And you get free shipping, so you'll get it much sooner than most of any place stateside. And it's cheaper to ship than buying it from Haya directly. And they've been good to us. I like them. I've actually ordered some figures from them too, so I know that the process works really well for them. Very trustworthy. Or if you guys are sticklers on getting them stateside, I also have a link in the description for Entertainment Earth, also down in the description. Anyways, see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.